Hello, in today's video, something a little different. We brought you inside instead of being outside because I've got a cold. Yep, I got a right stinker, so we're not going outside just yet. Today we're going to give you something a little different. We are going to start at the very beginning. I am going to be showing you what we are going to be growing in this garden this season. Why can't I say simple words? My brain is not working properly. My sinuses. Oh, dearie me. Go to the top of the stairs. So I'm going to be showing you something very secretive. Don't tell everyone. They'll all want to know. Well, considering it's on YouTube, everybody knows anyway. I'm going to be showing you the intimacies. We're going to be diving deep into what I call a man's seed box. Oh, suit you, sir. Oh. My name's Marsh, and I'm going to be taking a comprehensive look today at what we are going to be growing in the garden and the greenhouse this season on the Mad Gardener. Brilliant. Right, let's get into the crux of this. First and foremost, if you are going to have your seeds somewhere, preferably keep them in a nice plastic or a tin container somewhere dry, out of the way of weasels and imps from the forest. And if you can, keep them in the packets as well. Two reasons: one, you know what they are, and two, keeps them nice and dry. Right, let's run through what we're going to be growing in here, because everything in this pack we're not going to be putting in the garden this year, because there's a couple of plants that I don't want to put in because I either don't have space for them or I don't like the taste. And I'll tell you the ones you might be able to guess, because you might not like them either. But for some reason, everybody grows them. Right then, let's get in. First off the bat, look at this now. Look at this hair. I haven't cut my hair for a bit. I'm starting to look, let's put it like this, shall we? There we are. Starting to look like Dr. Emmett Brown. 1.21 gigawatts. Let's start with the vegetables. Right, we're going to start off with the vegetables that we're not growing in the garden. Arse backwards, I know, but it'll make sense because when we get to where we're going at the end of the video, you'll know why. And that'll be all revealed for you, as they do with the magic television. Anyway, first off the bat here, we have the mighty cucumber. Now, I actually grew some of these last year. I say that in inverted commas. I grew some of these last year. I set them aside where I'd normally put my courgettes because I wanted to grow some of these instead. And they only ended up being about 3 to 4 inches long, and they were very hairy. I think I planted it all a little bit too late, and they needed a lot of care as well. The cucumber, or the cucumber. Cucumbers. Love a cucumber. But it is basically water, so I'm just going to have a glass of water instead of growing cucumbers. They're not going in the garden this year. Maybe when I get an allotment. Second on the list is the humble carrot. You might think, why are you not growing carrots? That's a good point, actually. Why am I not? I've got one. Those are ones from IKEA. Swedish carrots. These ones that I must have already tried to grow before. I did have a carrot. Oh yes, I remember. It looked like this. That's why I don't grow carrots. I might give them a go this year, but we'll put them to one side. Third one on here. Now, you're all going to scoff at me and go, well, it's so easy to do this. But this particular variety of tomato is not what I'm growing this season, which is the beef tomato, the larger tomatoes, the slightly bigger fruity ones, because they tend to stem up very quickly and they don't fruit enough in my garden. So I've gone for something a little different this year, which is I'll show you in a bit when we're doing the stuff that we are growing in. And the last one is a personal favourite of mine. I actually love this vegetable the most. I could bathe in this stuff. It's brilliant. It has the most iron content. It has a fantastic nutrient system. It has wonderful, wonderful benefits for the body as well. Good for hangovers. Yes, the next day eat some of this. It is the mighty broccoli. Oh, I tell you what, me and you go back a long way, don't we? Lovely. The problem is, I eat too much of this for me to warrant growing it in the garden because of the size and the amount of space that it needs to grow. Now, a normal broccoli plant will normally take up about, I would say, 3 to maybe 4, no, it's a bit much, maybe 2 to 3 foot squared to give it a real good one. You can stem them up a little bit higher if you're growing them, but they do need a lot of earth and a lot of maintenance with it as well. And considering how long they take to grow, which is almost about 8 to 9 months, I would have gone through about 40 pounds of broccoli already. So, unfortunately, until I get an allotment, that one's not happening. Now I'm going to double up here, triple up even, on this last little set of things that I'm not going to be growing, because they all tend to be down in the ground. These are, we've got simple fat onions, we've got some beetroots there, a bit of beets, and some radish as well. Now, I don't know about you, onions as well, pretty cheap down the market, and there's a lot of people that I know that are growing onions, and I have still got onions from previous seasons. This is from seed, and I find that onion is easier to grow from offcuts. Making them grow from themselves, I forget the bloody term for it, I'm not feeling good. But when it comes to beetroot and radish, the beets and the radish, really, I'm not a big fan. I don't have a lot of meals that warrant those, and my particular digestive system does not get on with beetroots. You know what they look like, and you know what they taste like. Not this year, Charlie. Well, would you look at this? In the bottom of this, I got a left myself. A little garlic bulb that seemed to have erupted into something special. That must have been in there for months. Look at that. Bless it. Now, here's the good bit. On to the things that we are going to be growing in the garden this year. Things that we've already started to seed, and things that we are already starting to grow. They're all ready to pop up, and I'll show you a bit of those a little bit later on. So, let's get on to this first. Right, first off the bat is a brand new one for the garden. I have never grown this before. We put this in the video the other week. And is the wonderful pak choi. Now, we've already planted some of these and started them to seed. And we've got a couple of plants, 8 or 9, maybe, because I'm obviously limited. These are the normal size pak choi as well. I say normal, they should grow to about 6-7 inches. Give us something like that. Hi girls, don't start again. And they should be good, ready to harvest when the sun pops out, basically, and then you can cut them and reharvest them many times. So that's number 1, going in the garden, pak choi. Next one on the list, we did a video about this last week, is the old wonderful Monge 2 again. We have put the Monge 2 in the airing cupboard, and we've left them for 4 days. No, it's been 5 days now. I think that's probably too much. Seeing as we're talking about them, the old Monge 2, the good peas, Rodney. It's some Monge 2, Rodney. I don't know, that didn't sound anything like Del Boy at all. We'll go and get him out the airing cupboard. Let's go and have a look, shall we? Go on then, let's go and have a look. All right, I'll go first. come back now and it's gone all dark. Look at this. Right, we'll have to sort that out. Computer, all lights on. Can't do that in the garden, can you? Right, so I got them. Don't they look good? Look at that. Look at these babies. As you can see, they have sprouted. I'll get the one out here. They're still wrapped up in their little greenhouse that we made. It's fascinating. The leaves, what they call the roots. Have a word with yourself. You don't even know you're left from your right fella. Right then, so we're going to get them out because what we've gone and done is we've left them in the airing cupboard with no light. Obviously looking at these thinking, why they look all a bit weird like that? Well, they're only sprouting and they're looking for photosynthesis. They're looking for the light so they can photosynthesize and start to grow more. Because if you can get, let's get light in there as well. There's a very good example there. Light, you see the leaves there? So what we're going to do, nice and simple, give them that sprig of life. There we go, look at that. Look at that, absolutely wonderful. Where you can actually see the pea that has sprouted from, or the stem that has sprouted from the pea itself. I cannot talk today. What is going on? Look at that one as well. Absolutely brilliant. Right, so that's the one lot done. Let's do the second lot. Lovely job. Look at those ones there as well. Ooh. Now in total I think we've got, have a quick count, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. We've got a good 32 plants that have seeded out of that. With every one of them there. There we are. So those will eventually go in the ground. I'm going to put those under a small light. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, well, he's gone out and spent money on expensive grow lights and stuff. I haven't. I've got an LED lamp that I use for the office. It's pretty much like you would any lamp. There's one in the background there. If you can see, there's like a skinny one here. And it emits at the full spectrum. Now, this is the important thing to remember when it comes to lights and indoor lights. You don't need to go mad and spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds on fully heated LED, full spectrum, all this as well, because most of the LED lights will do most of the spectrum anyway. And that's enough for the plants to get a good start on. So put a lamp next to them, LED, don't give them one of them silly bulbs. It'll do, but they'll end up just sort of growing at it. If you can spread the light as much as you can, granted, it may be a lamp that is particular way or looks like this, or it's a bit of a duck lamp or something, or you've got a nice Cinderella lamp or a princess lamp. Disney, they could do it. Make sure the light's on top and they can spread over it as much as possible. So they're going to go underneath the lamp, and then we're going to put them up on the windowsill for them to grow. And we'll have a look back at those. Ooh, I don't know. Another 2 days? We'll have a look then. Now, I did mention earlier that we weren't going to grow any tomatoes. I lied, because I am growing cherry tomatoes. I'm not growing the beef tomatoes because I've not grown cherry tomatoes on the scale that I'm going to be growing them this year. And I'll show you what I mean by that, because I've already started some of the cherry tomato plants and I've given them a little bit of a head start upstairs. So I'll go and fetch one of those for you now, and I'll show you how far along that we are with our cherry tomatoes. I'm dripping all over my leg. Right, here he is. Well, she is one of the little tomato plants that we've got here. Just dripped all over my keyboard. A good start. Only a little sapling of the cherry tomatoes that we are growing up there. This is one of 9 plants that we have. This plant has been growing up there, I think, for about 3 weeks now. Must have been about 3 weeks. Seeded them in these pots as well. Single plant, and then they grew to it. And we're just keeping them on a windowsill. As you can see, it's ever so slightly stemmy, which means that, well, I think that speaks for itself. Stemmy, doesn't it? Stemmy. Doesn't mean that it's grown rings, does it? And it's leaning ever so slightly as you look at it that way. But a simple technique for that, just turn it around and they'll grow that way. And then turn it around. Anyway, those are the cherry tomatoes that we're going to be growing for this season. hopefully some nice cherry tomatoes, because that's something that we do eat a lot of, a lot in the salads, a lot in our cooking. So again, we are growing the fruit and the vegetables that we need in our kitchen, that we need in our diet, that we need in our lives. That's how we reuse and repurpose, like this. Oh, bloody hell. I told you I was ill. I know there's no continuity on this video, but I thought I'd go and get it anyway to show you the aggressive courgette. Here it is. As soon as that sprouted, I put this, now I'll explain what these are for you as well in a second. Also, space-wise, I thought was good, but nutrient-wise, I thought was good. And also, I'm trying to figure out how to make my own. We'll come to those in a second. Little pallets they are. Little pellets, not pallets. Little pellets, they're this big. Drop them in some water and they absorb that. Put the seed in there, and this is what you get. So as you can see, it still has the remnants of the seed up on the top there as well. It's got its 2 little wings ready to open out into the sunshine. And as soon as this thing popped out of there, I put them on the windowsill to start with, give them some heat from the top, and then I got a heat mat. If you don't have a heat mat, a very good thing to do is put them on something waterproof, like the plastic trays that we use. We've seen it earlier, the meat trays or the fruit punnets. Don't use the ones with holes in the bottom because you need to keep some moisture in them. Put them underneath the radiator. They have pipes that run underneath your house with the radiators up and down the walls. They will get heat out of that. Or if you're very posh and you've got underfloor heating, just put them on there. So that's what she's going to do. She's breaking out. I'm breaking out. Gotta be free. Oh, yeah. Don't do that. Bloody hell. So this needs to be repotted. Needs to be in the soil. He like it in there, doesn't he? Those are good. Plenty of good nutrients in there. Right. Well, that's the courgette. So I brought down a couple of the things that I've been growing already. We've seeded a couple of things, and because I'm trying them out, because I've either not grown them before, or I've grown them and been unsuccessful. So I'm trying it again, or I just want to add some seeds left over and I'm going to plonk them in. First and foremost, something simple that everybody can grow. You can grow this in egg cups, you can grow this in cups, you can grow this in almost anything. It is the wonderful chive. Now look at these. They look a little bit weird because they've still got their seed tops on the top of them there. But the wonderful chive. We've got a couple of them growing there. There's one there. There's another one there as well. We've got these. Just simple. We put 3 of these chive pots together. Seeds have just been thrown in the middle. Add some water with one of these, what do they call them? Impact pellets. That sounds good, doesn't it, for the garden? Use an impact pellet. Grow your cress. Chives. Wonderful plant to have in there. They're going in the herb garden when we finally build it. This is another nice one that we've got in there as well. These are the pak choi. Or these little baby ones. Well, I think they are. We might not be, actually. I'm not quite sure what they are. I know it's not lettuce because I didn't put lettuce in here. What are they? Well, it's either pak choi or... I have no idea what that is. But I have got these. I've made a little mini greenhouse for them because they're at the next stage past germination. And what I mean by that is that they are all covered like this. As you can see, they've got my little garden cakes in there. Impact pellets. Or garden cakes. I've got them in the meat tray wrapped up in the cling film as well with a bit of moisture, and that goes on the heat mat, as I said, next to the radiator, so we can get the moisture, so you can get the warmth underneath. I cannot get my words around my teeth today. I don't know why. It's not happening, man, you know. Sorry, everyone from the north of England. So once they have germinated, they're going to start doing, obviously, like that, as we saw with What's that again? Chives. I'm the mad gardener. So as soon as they start to sprout like this, you need to get them out of that container because obviously it's going to block their growth and they're not going to be able to shoot up and spread out with their true leaves as we've got here. So you'll put them into something like this, keep them in a little container, a nice little bit of plastic at the bottom, as you can see, with no holes in because the missus doesn't want to mess on the carpet or on the floor. In here, we've got some absolutely wonderful little plants going on. We've decided this year that we can also carry on growing the wonderful chilies. Now, I'm a very big fan of growing chilies, and I'm going to be showing you in another video exactly what chilies that I am growing this year, because there's some good ones. And if there's one thing that I actually got good at, it was growing chilies. Yes, and I have a bountiful plethora of chilies last season that burnt my face off every time I ate them. But example as we got here, what have we got here? The pep biqui, I don't even know what I've written on there. We'll have a look at that later on. Roquita, there we are, there's some wonderful chilies there we got all growing. See the double leaves? And also some of them have got their true leaves as well coming up from underneath. Again, some more chilies down here. No idea what they are, but we'll be going through those later on at a later stage, and some bok choy at the end there as well. But the idea is once you get them past that germination stage, and they do sprout up like that, you need to give them a little bit of space. So just make them that mini little greenhouse that they like. Make sure it's propped up at one end, which I'm not doing properly here. There we go. And you've got, as you can see, a couple of those cocktail or ice lolly sticks in there just to keep a little bit of area on there. And that'll keep them on nice and warm. Put those on the windowsill and let them grow into whatever they are, because I have no bloody idea what I'm growing in there. Brilliant. Now this is the fun part. Do not be mistaken by just the box. Yes, this was a part of a kit that was bought for me as a Christmas present, and I did use the chilies that are in there, but I tend to use the box to keep the rest of the seeds that we've got in there. So ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to find out what I'm going to be growing chili-wise this year, well, I think you might have to tune into the next video. It's a bit hot for now. Oh.